You've found Wickett on Wisconsin, your one-stop podcast for all things Packers, Brewers, Bucks, and the rest of your favorite teams from all over the state of Wisconsin. We're powered by Wisconsin Sports Heroics, online at wisportsheroics.com and the Wisconsin Podcast Association. And now, here's your host, Mike Wickett.
Yo, back at it, season 3 of Wickett on Wisconsin. Took a little time off here in the off-season since the Bucks got eliminated. And back at it, refreshed, ready to go as it is Packers season officially. Here we are recording this on August the 7th. Training camp is underway. Family night was last night. I am so thrilled to be back. I am so thrilled that we've got a couple of sponsors I will tell you about a little bit later on. If you're watching on the video, you see their names flashing on the screen. Shout out to the people, my friends at Great Lakes Dragaway. They've been partners of mine for over 10 years, and I'm glad to have them on the podcast. And Nick Packard, nickpackard.com is going to help you expand your business. More on those guys coming up. Here's what we're going to do today during the podcast. Now, I have not been at training camp, and I have been reading everything that you have been reading, just, whether it's on Twitter, in the Press Gazette, in the Journal Sentinel, at wisconsinsportsheroics.com, where the conversation is happening, and you're seeing all kinds of videos, and I love that website. I'm a proud partner of those guys, and the social media pages as well. They're blowing up. They are absolutely blowing up with people commenting and talking about all the storylines coming out of 1265, and I've got 3. Now, this doesn't mean these are the only 3, but these are the 3 headlines or the 3 storylines oozing out of the first week and a half, 2 weeks of training camp that I've got going on right now that are in my head, all right? And if you've got others, that's cool, because I'd love to know what you're paying attention to. If you comment on Facebook or send me a DM or something on Twitter or Instagram or whatever at Mike Wickett. But storyline number 1, it's the one everybody is talking about. And going in, you know that the biggest concern for the Green Bay Packers this year was, what are they going to do with Davante Adams gone playing in Vegas? And so with Davante Adams playing in Las Vegas, it was like, man, these wide receivers, what are they going to do? And the super exciting move in the offseason was Sammy Watkins. Nobody's excited about Sammy Watkins. Nobody is. Like, you don't hear anybody talk about, oh, man, I'm so glad they signed Sammy Watkins, because everybody, unfortunately, and I hope it changes this year, but everybody knows what Sammy Watkins is, right? He's a guy that's uber talented, came into the league, had a real good start with Buffalo, has not been able to stay healthy. If you're a Chiefs fan, and I covered the Kansas City Chiefs for a while down in Kansas City, he had the great beginning and end, and he had a great run in the Super Bowl, and that was it. But it's the middle part of the year where you don't expect to see all that much out of Sammy Watkins, and it's understandable because Sammy is injury-prone. He has been his entire career. Now, going into this season, everything you heard, and this is one of those things that people say in the media or athletes always say, oh, I'm in the best shape of my career. I've rediscovered myself. I'm in the gym. I'm in the most physically fit moments of my career. Okay, we'll see. I'm not trying to poo-poo the signing of Sammy Watkins, because if they spun the wheel and struck gold with Sammy Watkins, then great. That's fine. If I can get, I don't know, what's the expectation? If Lazard is your number 1, which is still weird for all of us to say, right? But if Allen Lazard is your number 1 and Sammy is your number 2 to start the year, can you expect, 60 catches and 800 yards and 6 touchdowns out of Sammy Watkins? I think if you got that out of Sammy, you'd be pretty happy with that, wouldn't you? Maybe 1,000 total yards, because you might see Sammy used, some gadget plays in and around out of the backfield. That'd be fine. I don't know if he's especially after the draft, which we're going to get to, I don't think he's your first choice to run anything out of the backfield, but he could get the ball handed to him at some point. He could be running some stuff. So you've got Lazard, you got Sammy Watkins, and hopefully Sammy can stay healthy. And if he does stay healthy, great, because you needed another veteran in there that Aaron's going to trust. I think he trusts Sammy Watkins. He loves Randall Cobb, and of course Allen Lazard is the guy that he fought for to be on this roster 2 years ago, and he's a guy that he has basically screamed out that he's the new Jake Kumerow. No, he's better than Jake Kumerow. But you know how much Aaron loved Jake Kumerow. And, gosh, if they only would have kept Kumerow, right? But they make a decision in the second round of the NFL draft, and they go ahead and draft Christian Watson, somebody I would have been fine with in the first round. If you want to know my full thoughts on Christian Watson, the kid from North Dakota State, all you got to do is go back and check out another episode of Wickett on Wisconsin. Whether you find it on Spotify or Google Podcasts or Apple or whatever, I was in love with Christian Watson after watching tape, talking to people who covered Christian Watson, and thinking about what a wide receiver in a run-first offense who trucks people from the wide receiver spot would mean in a Matt LaFleur offense. Big fan of Watson. We haven't seen him yet. Knee injury. We haven't seen Christian Watson yet. Everything you hear about him in film or in meetings with Aaron Rodgers is that Christian Watson is doing the right things, because all the talk in the offseason, of course, from people who hate the Packers wide receiver room is, well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust wide receivers. He doesn't like young guys. They need to be established. Well, it sounds like Watson's breaking that mold, at least from the film room, right? Oh, Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust young wide receivers. Well, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust young wide receivers, then he sure is blowing a lot of smoke about what we're hearing about Christian Watson. But we haven't seen Christian Watson yet. What we have seen, and I'm sure you've seen highlights of him in camp, and that's Romeo Doubs, the third-day guy out of Nevada. Romeo Doubs is so far to this point the star of the rookie class and maybe the overall star of training camp. It's not Quay Walker. It's not Devontae Wyatt. Certainly isn't Christian Watson. He can't get on the field. It's Romeo Doubs. And maybe everything was personified by one play that we all saw, right? The play against Stokes, where he shook him at the line and blew by him. And let's not forget that Eric Stokes is known for his speed, and he couldn't catch up to Doubs. And if it was a sideline pass, and you've probably seen the highlight, and if Doubs, and I'm not knocking Rodgers, but the ball was actually thrown a little bit short and outside, and Doubs did an amazing job of adjusting to the ball in the air, and he was still 3 feet ahead of Eric Stokes. I will not lie to you. I didn't watch a single snap of Nevada football last year. I only know Romeo Doubs from draft profiles and what pundits were saying coming into the camp. I know a lot more about his ability right now because he's connecting with Rodgers on the field. He's connecting with Jordan Love when Love's running it. This guy, and I'm not putting him, he's not going to be, a 1,500-yard receiver with 11, 12 touchdowns this year. I still have very high expectations and hopes for Christian Watson, albeit now this year it may take him a little longer to actually get the trust of Aaron Rodgers or get the football thrown his way from Aaron Rodgers or whatever. But that being said, if Watson and Doubs both can play at high levels for the next 3 to 5 years before somebody gets paid, and somebody's going to have to get paid. You look at all these wide receiver contracts, more on that in a second. You see all these guys getting paid. The Packers may have struck gold with their second-round pick and their fifth-round pick with these two wide receivers, with Watson and Doubs. Doubs has proven he can at least play at a camp level. Watson hasn't shown anything because he can't get on the field because of the knee injury. Everyone's saying the knee is going to be fine. I don't know what that means. I have no idea when we're actually going to see Watson. I don't know what this means for his role in the offense once we get to week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings. By the way, I mentioned all those salaries. I was definitely one of those people. Hashtag DK to GB. I wanted the Packers to trade for DK Metcalf, or I wanted Green Bay to do something crazy and acquire Deebo Samuel, or, get one of these stud wide receivers. A.J. Brown was a guy who wound up going to Philadelphia on draft night. I also will say that paying wide receivers, and I've always said this, and I said this about Devontae Adams, the best wide receiver in football, paying wide receivers $30 million a year is insane. It is they're the biggest divas in the sport, and I believe they're one of the most easily replaceable positions in the sport. I'm never going to subscribe to the notion that the Green Bay passing offense is going to really suffer because Devontae Adams now plays in Vegas. Will it take a step back? Sure. But more on this note coming up in a bit. But I think with the acquisitions, if Sammy and if Doubs, and a lot of ifs, I understand that, and can Lazard take the jump, then this offense is going to be Fine. Are they going to be top 3 offense in the NFL? Probably not. But they have the 4-time MVP, reigning 2-time MVP, guiding the way. And he is one of those guys that makes wide receivers better. He will make Romeo Doubs better. When Watson's on the field, he will make Watson better. If Watkins is on the field, he will make Sammy Watkins better. And I believe Allen Lazard will be better because of Aaron Rodgers, because he's that good. So all these names, all these youngsters that are, Doubs and Watson and newcomers like Sammy Watkins, and I haven't talked about Amari Rodgers yet because there's another name. All these young guys, I hope, are calming some of the fears you may have had when it comes to the Packers and this wide receiver room without Davante Adams. Speaking of Amari Rodgers, he's done nothing from what I've read, from what I've seen. He's done nothing at all in camp to wow anybody. Now, they're not going to give up on a third-round pick in the second season of his NFL career because Rodgers did basically nothing last year. But if this was year 3, I would think that with the emergence of Doubs, with the excitement of Watson, with Lazard, with Watkins, hell, for a 7th-rounder, Samori Touré's even turning some heads out there. I would say Rodgers would be in a little bit of trouble if this wasn't his second year in this offense playing for this organization. He's just not done anything. And they tried a bit punt return last year. That was a disaster. Sounds like Doubs might get a shot at the punt return spot, but he has been the absolute star of camp so far this year. Coming up, I've got to get to point number 2, the storyline out of this Packers offseason. But first, I mentioned that we have some sponsors for the season of Wickett on Wisconsin. Now, this is great. If you have a business and you're trying to have it perform out there on the internet, get your name out there, trying to market yourself, whether your marketing agency that you may have hired is underperforming, or if you don't even have a marketing person to help your small business grow and you're looking for some experience, not me, but maybe it's time for you to check out a fractional chief marketing officer for your business. And I'm talking about my friend Nick Packard. He's a Wisconsinite. He's a Packers fan. He's located right there in Franklin, Wisconsin, and he's a fractional CMO, which means he's going to deliver all of your business and marketing needs. Now, this can be anything from like building a website, designing a logo, maybe, get this, using organic, social, and paid ad strategies that help get you seen through SEO. You're like, Wickett, what's SEO? It stands for Search Engine Optimization. Basically, it's when you hit the Google button and whatever comes up first, those are the search engine optimization companies or optimized companies that have got all the right people marketing their business the right way. When you say, hey, Alexa, what business does, sells suits or whatever, Alexa's going to pull up and tell you the names that have been optimized properly through SEO. Guess what? That's what Nick can do for you. NickPackard.com. He's going to manage your project from start to finish, help you create a trackable marketing system for your business, all right? So a trackable marketing system for your business. They want to bring back transparency throughout the process. He's going to pull back the curtain to help you and your team save thousands on marketing costs, okay? And as a deal for my listeners, Nick's going to give you a free digital ecosystem assessment. He's going to give it to anybody who wants an outsider's perspective on their website, your social channels, and your email marketing. You can go to his website directly and sign up. It's nickpackard.com. nickpackard.com, and you can see where you score. If you're not doing enough, this could be the dude for you. He's in line with your budget. If you're a small business or a medium-sized business, he's flexible, he's fractional. NP Connect, the marketing agency redefined. Go online today, nickpackard.com. And please tell him Wickett sent you. All right, on to storyline number 2 for the Packers. It has to do with Davante Adams not being around anymore. And I was on another podcast talking about this, and I liken it to what's going on in Kansas City. Now, Kansas City may have done a better job of adding big-name free agents to replace Tyreek Hill, and they have one of the best tight ends ever in Travis Kelce. And Green Bay doesn't have either of those, with all due respect to Robert Tonyan, who we may not see back till Halloween. But I'm going to tell you right now, just as Patrick Mahomes comes to the line, and most of the time your first question is, where's Tyreek? As in, where's the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, now in Miami? 80-90% of the time, when Aaron Rodgers comes to the line, everybody wonders, where's Davante? Just the way it was. And he was always his first read. I'm not telling you the Packers are better without Davante Adams. What I am telling you is they're going to be more balanced without Davante Adams. They may not have a 1,000-yard wide receiver. But what Green Bay might have is 4 guys who can have between 500 and 800 yards receiving. Now, whether that's a receiver, 2 receivers and 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 3 receivers, a running back, a tight. I think that this will be a more wide-open offense, a more diverse offense, and it won't always be 12 looking for 17. I will always love Davante Adams, and I have zero hate towards Davante Adams for wanting to do what he wanted to do. Go play with this guy, go back out west, go play with Carr, get out of Green Bay. He's done a lot of great things. You can argue he's the greatest Packers wide receiver ever. I'd listen to that conversation. But without Davante Adams, now Aaron Rodgers, you don't necessarily know where he's going to look. You know, it could be Lazard. It could be Sammy Watkins. It could be Romeo Doubs. It could be Tunyon. It could be DeGuara if he's able to get on the field and stay healthy. It could be something out of the backfield. I actually believe, and I'm going to counteract my own argument here, I actually believe that this Packers offense can and should focus more on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that I expect Aaron to throw the ball 18 times a game and hand the ball off to the 2 running backs 40 times a game. That's not going to happen. You're not paying a $50 million a year quarterback that much money to turn around and hand the ball off. Like, that's not really a thing. But I would fully expect, without Davante Adams, as these young guys get, grooved into the offense, I expect Aaron Rodgers and A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones all to be more in tune with one another. I think Aaron Rodgers will benefit a ton from a successful running game that he depends on. Remember the days of Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron was like, no, I'm not going to run that play. I'm not doing that play. I'm just going to do what I got to do. I don't want to ever see Aaron throw the ball 50 times in a game. The Matt LaFleur offense is better when Aaron Rodgers can hand the ball off, run play action, use RPO with Dillon, with Jones, and whoever the third running back is going to be. This offense is so much better when there's pre-snap action, when there's all different kinds of looks. Remember McCarthy's offense? It was, that's what they're going to do. They're going to line up. They're going to throw it this way. And it was new and different when McCarthy took over. But by the end, it was stale, and everybody knew exactly what Green Bay was going to do for the most part. This offense, at its best, is when it's pre-snap, it's motion, it's this, it's jet, it's all kinds of quick strike RPO stuff. That's when the offense is at its best. And you, like me, probably for a couple of games last year, sitting there watching in the first half, and you're like, why is there no play action? Where's the LaFleur offense? Why is there zero pre-snap motion? It's just line it up and let Aaron go. And then for some reason, as they're tied or trailing at half, the Matt LaFleur offense shows up in the second half. And you're like, well, where in the hell was that the first half? Where was all this fun stuff? And I'm not saying they need to run 12 gadget plays a game. That's not what I'm talking about. A gadget play every so often is fine. 1 game, 2 game, whatever. I don't know what the right number is there. But it's utilizing the threat of A.J. Dillon, the thunder of A.J. Dillon, the lightning of Aaron Jones, the hands of both of those guys who can catch stuff out of the backfield. If Doubs and Watson and Watkins and Lazard and all these guys are able to stretch the field, there's going to be a ton of space underneath for running backs to catch the football, and that's what I want to see. And I'm so excited to see Aaron Rodgers spread the ball around, not just to Davante Adams anymore, but to Lazard and to Watkins, if he's healthy, and Cobb, if he's, spry enough to still play, and to the running backs. There's so many ifs going in, I realize that, but I'm really excited for this year 4 of the Matt LaFleur offense being run by Aaron Rodgers, now not as dependent on 17. That's what I'm really excited about. So I just think that those are some of the storylines offensively coming into this year that Packers fans can get really excited about. Without Davante Adams, will they be as good? I don't know. There's not. Well, they certainly won't have the best quarterback wide receiver pass catch combo in the NFL like they have had for the last several years. But the offense is going to be more diverse, and the offense is going to open up opportunities for a lot of other guys and keep the opposition on their heels a lot more. No longer are you just rolling up thinking, watch 17. You got to watch everybody. And that's what could make this offense better than last year. It's a big if. I know. All right, so I'll get to my third storyline that I'm intrigued by out of training camp here in a quick second. Thanks to our second sponsor, brand new to the program, but somebody I've known for the last decade. And the old phrase, you know this one, it's back because of a certain movie. I feel the need for speed. It's back. It's in the mainstream this summer. If that sounds like you, then go see my friends at Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove, Wisconsin, the fastest quarter mile in the Midwest. If you're a gearhead, if you love to drive really fast, or you just enjoy sitting back and watching these machines tear down a quarter mile track, then you're in luck because Great Lakes Dragaway has what you need for great family fun entertainment. They've got nights every week for bikes and hot rods and trucks, nitrous nights, and more. The entire schedule is at GreatLakesDragaway.com. That's GreatLakesDragaway.com. And if you're a Packers fan, you're going to want to come out. That's right, Great Lakes Dragaway, September 3rd. Say hi to the newest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, my good friend Leroy Butler. He's going to be signing autographs, taking pictures, shaking hands, kissing babies, flashing that famous Leroy smile, all while wearing his brand new gold jacket. And I'll have more on Leroy coming up in a bit here. Plus, that's not all. Super Bowl champion Gilbert Brown is coming out on Saturday, September 24th. You can meet the gravedigger himself. Great Lakes Dragaway, it's open until the snow flies. And you can get that full schedule again, GreatLakesDragaway.com. And one more thing, I know it's really hot. As my old partner Chuck would say, it's hot as balls outside. It is. But, Christmas is going to get here like that. One day you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh, man, they're playing Christmas music everywhere. Because it's coming. Great Lakes Dragaway is a great spot for a gift card for that gearhead, for that racing fan in your life. So get them on your shopping list or get them checked off your shopping list today at GreatLakesDragaway.com. All right, third storyline before I talk about what an awesome weekend it was to watch my good friend Leroy Butler. The third storyline is this, and I'm not sure how much time I can spend talking about this, but Jordan Love seems to be really turning it on in year 3. Which is not surprising. I have been talking about the Jordan Love pick. We have all been talking about the Jordan Love pick. Everybody's been talking about Jordan Love for the last couple of years. And you have, for whatever reason, a group of Packers fans who hate Jordan Love. And I don't know why you hate Jordan Love, but you hate Jordan Love. Maybe you just hate the idea of Jordan Love, that it could have been Justin Jefferson at that same spot, or that they moved up. They actually traded away an additional 4th-round pick to get Jordan Love, and you don't like that or whatever because you thought Aaron Rodgers was still going to be playing at a pretty high level. I don't think anybody expected Aaron Rodgers to play at a back-to-back MVP high level. Now, some of that might have had to do with his trip to Peru, crushing ayahuasca. I don't know. I'm just saying the dude's got 2 straight MVPs after sitting in a jungle drinking a hallucinogenic juice. Just throwing that out there. I do with that what you want. But Jordan Love, apparently, according to everyone, including a 60-yard bomb he threw to Samori Toure on family night, it looks like Jordan Love finally is picking up the offense. And I am not a Jordan Love apologist. I am a Jordan Love fan. I wasn't 100% sure if Aaron Rodgers really was going to come back to this team. And you can be a Jordan Love fan and be an Aaron Rodgers fan. That would be me. Aaron Rodgers on the field is one of my all-time favorite players to watch. I'm a Packers fan, so I'm going to support whoever they draft, and maybe they find the next heir apparent to the Hall of Famer. They've done it in the past. People hated Aaron Rodgers. I covered Packers training camp, and people were booing Aaron Rodgers when Favre was already gone. That first year of Rodgers in camp, they were booing him. And I felt terrible for Aaron 18 years ago. And I feel bad for the stuff that's coming Jordan Love's way this year. It doesn't make any sense to me. Don't boo the kid. You can be upset with Brian Gutekunst. That's fine. But don't boo the kid. All right? Kid now. He's got to be about 24, 23, 24 at this point. It feels like we've been talking about Jordan Love for a long time, and we kind of have been talking about him for a long time. But everything that you are hearing and everything that people are saying and everything that you are reading from people like Matt LaFleur and all the reporters, Ryan Wood, Aaron Nagler, Mike Clemens, Rob Domofsky, everybody who is covering the Green Bay Packers right now, is that Jordan Love is starting to look like an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I'm not saying, well, do Rodgers for one more year, trade him, and let's get the Love era started. I believe that barring injury to Aaron Rodgers, the first time Jordan Love starts an NFL game will not be in a Packers uniform. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. I think they're giving him the Garoppolo treatment right now. It's you watch him develop. You watched Garoppolo develop under Brady, and then Brady's done. They ship Garoppolo out. They get what they can. It's okay to admit you may have made a mistake drafting Jordan Love. Like, it's not the end of the world. See if you can get a 4th-round pick or something for Jordan Love. I don't think it's going to be fair to Jordan to sit behind Rodgers for the next 3 years and do what? I mean, I think the Packers honestly are setting this up as a trade sometime next offseason. If they can showcase him perhaps in the preseason, I don't expect Rodgers to take any snaps in this preseason just like last year, although some people looking back at that Saints game would say, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe perhaps that was a mistake. But that being said, I think that Jordan Love is going to be showcased. I hope he plays well in the preseason. I hope he plays well enough to garner some interest from some teams. He is not going to lead this team to a Super Bowl should Aaron Rodgers, God forbid, get Anthony Barr again. All right? But Jordan Love can show enough to another team that he's worthy of being given a chance to start and grow. Because his best football is not going to be played in 2022 or 2023. Jordan Love's best football will be played in 24, 25, and 26, like every other quarterback almost in the history of the NFL. Most quarterbacks take 2 to 3 years. I know today's NFL standard is perform as a rookie, perform in year 2, perform in year 3. I mean, look at Burrow, look at Mahomes after he sat for 1 year. You look at a lot of these young guys, they put up huge numbers in year 1 and year 2. But not everybody does that. Look at the draft class of last year. Who do you think had a great rookie year? Mac Jones had a good rookie year. Zach Wilson didn't. Trey Lance certainly did not. Justin Fields certainly did not. Injuries affected some of those guys. Starting positions where they were on the depth chart had some effect on those guys. Do you think Kenny Pickett's going to get any run right now in Pittsburgh? Nope. From what I hear, he's 3rd on the depth chart. Malik Willis, surely not getting any run in Tennessee. That's Ryan Tannehill's job. Matt Corral, he's 3rd. Corral's 3rd on the depth chart, and they just acquired Baker Mayfield down in Carolina. So I am so happy to hear that Jordan Love is improving. Let's just say improving to the point where it doesn't sound like if the Packers were to lose Rodgers for 5 games, let's say. Last year, they go 1-4, 2-3 at best. I don't think he played terribly against Kansas City in his first start at one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. He got better as the game progressed. If the game was 2 more quarters long, I would say Love would probably have won that football game. His statistical performance was as good, if not better, than Patrick Mahomes that night. And then the game against Detroit in week 17, 18, whatever we're calling it, he wasn't great. Certainly not great. A couple of bad passes led to some picks, including one where he just seemingly did I'm just going to heave it down here. Can't do that in the NFL. I think if Rodgers were to be out for 5 games last year, Green Bay's 1-4, 2-3 at best. I think if Rodgers misses 5 games this year, I think they're 3-2 at worst. Depending on where those games land, maybe 4-1. I think he's good enough to win 3 out of 5 for Green Bay. I do. And I'm happy to hear everything that we're hearing from LaFleur and company about the improvement of Jordan Love. So those are my 3 storylines. The rookies, especially Romeo Doubs, this offense coming in without Devontae Adams. It sounds like that they're going to be really, truly more diverse. And then the improvement of Jordan Love. I could not get out of this podcast without talking about how happy I am for my friend Leroy Butler, the newest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I actually interviewed Leroy a couple of podcasts ago. It was a lot of fun. And Leroy is somebody I've known for almost 15 years now. And it is so great to see that dude finally get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As you know, one of the greatest safeties ever, long overdue. The only member of the all-90s team not to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame was Leroy Butler. And when I look back at that interview I did with Leroy, and I watch the video of when my all-time favorite athlete, Charles Woodson, opened the door for Leroy to tell him he was getting his gold jacket, and then Leroy promptly shut the door on Charles Woodson. I was like, man, that is so great. Leroy is such a nice guy and so deserving, and never, ever did I hear him complain. When I talked to him, the times he was nominated or a finalist or a semifinalist and didn't get in, he was never down about it. He knew his time would come. Here's a quick story. When I moved from Milwaukee in 2015 and I always say this, I loved Milwaukee. Absolutely. I'm originally from Detroit, moved to Milwaukee in 2007, fell in love with the town, fell in love with the state, fell in love with fans of all the teams, just like you, Green Bay Packers fan. And it's never going to be out of my system, right? I moved from Milwaukee to Kansas City with my then girlfriend, now wife, Lee. And not long after I got down to Kansas City, there was a jersey that was in the mail to me. And it was from Leroy. And it was one of his jerseys, and it was autographed. And, it had a special personal message, and it was really, really nice. Nobody does that. Who does that? Leroy Butler did that. He did that for me. It was really tough to leave Wisconsin. It was really tough to leave 1250 The Fan. It was tough to leave that job. But Leroy doing that made me feel like, I'm gone, but I'm not gone. And that was great. And then actually the jersey disappeared for like 4 weeks, and I didn't know where it was. And then surprisingly, my then girlfriend and her mom and her dad had it framed and put it behind glass and had it stitched into an awesome frame. And I'm not a big autograph guy, not a big memorabilia guy. I don't have a ton of it. But that is one thing I will always have. It will always be special to me. And when I saw Leroy Butler, and if you haven't seen the video of Leroy, not his speech, but getting to Canton, going through all of it. And when Mike Tirico introduced him on Thursday night, you could just see that Leroy smile, man. And the bust on Saturday when it was introduced, the smile is there. They got Leroy right. Like, some of those Hall of Fame busts don't always look good. This one did look like it was Leroy, and he was happy, and he was smiling. And I think my absolute favorite thing, I about melted. If you follow me on Twitter, at Mike Wickett, 2 T's, I tweeted out or retweeted the video that was done, from Leroy's perspective, and all the pictures and all the stuff that he saw. His spot in the Hall of Fame, where his bust will be, is going to be right next to Charles Woodson's. I about lost it because those are 2 of my absolute most favorite athletes of all time. I consider Leroy a very good friend, and I'm so happy that he got into the Hall of Fame. His speech was fantastic. He talked about the heavens opening up, and I'm just couldn't be happier for the guy. He's so very, very deserving, and congratulations to Leroy Butler. And if you want to check out that interview shortly after he was announced as a Pro Football Hall of Famer, check out one of those podcasts of mine, Wickett on Wisconsin. It's on Apple. It's on Google. It's wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. Hey, that is it. Season 3, Episode 1 is in the books of Wickett on Wisconsin. I want to thank you so much for listening. Appreciate you checking it out. Thanks to our sponsors, Nick Packard. If you have any marketing needs, digital marketing needs, nickpackard.com. Tell them Wickett sent you, and also Great Lakes Dragaway, longtime friends down there in Union Grove, Wisconsin. So check them out as well. Until next time, and there will be a next time very, very soon. Don't forget, you can like, rate, comment, recommend, do all the things, review the podcast. I really appreciate that. It'll help me grow the podcast as well. Wherever you listen to us, on Apple, on Spotify, on Google, or wherever you may be finding this podcast. Thank you so much. My name is Mike Wickett. This has been Wickett on Wisconsin. As always, go Pack, go Bucks, and go Brewers.